ladies and gentlemen, it is Kevin Jackowitz here with Caged Review, and we are going to review SmackDown for April 10th, 2018. This is the SmackDown after WrestleMania, so you expect it to be big, and, you know, kind of like yesterday's Raw, you expect people to just randomly show up and, you know, get moved up from NXT. You expect surprises. Did this deliver? No, it did not. Not even close. This was as close to as terrible a SmackDown after WrestleMania as you could possibly have, because you're basically closing out one season and moving into the next season. And they failed miserably on a lot of accounts, and I'm going to go ahead and get into this. So you start out with Shane McMahon comes in, he addresses the fact that Daniel Bryan is now a full-time wrestler again, and that you have to have somebody to fill in his position as general manager because he's stepping down from that position and going into full-time active wrestling again. So they bring in Paige as the general manager, and I don't know how I feel about that. I love Paige as a wrestler. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to give it a chance. I just don't know how it's going to work out. I mean, clearly she's never been in this position. I am glad that they gave her something with the company because God knows the wrestling has been her heart and soul ever since she was very young. She's worked her ass off to become a very good wrestler, and I think she did a great job at being a very good wrestler. So it did suck for me that she had to retire. I didn't like that. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how she does as general manager. So I'm not hating on it, definitely not hating on it, but I don't know if I'm excited about it either, because there's a lot of gray area. I just don't know. And I think, you know, that's where I stand with that. After that, there is a match between the Usos and the New Day, and the winners get to face the Bludgeon Brothers for the title at this Greatest Royal Rumble pay-per-view thing that they got going on. And so anytime you get the Usos and the New Day together in a match, it's amazing, and this was no exception. It was a very, very good match. A lot of really good spots in it. At the end of the day, the Usos won, which, you know, they were the tag champs anyway. They got beat, so they should have the right to the rematch clause. So this match, in a way, was kind of really not very well thought out because the Usos are supposed to have the rematch clause anyway. But they won the match, and they're going to be facing the Bludgeon Brothers. The Bludgeon Brothers come out. They don't really do anything. They just point their big-ass hammers toward the Usos. So that was that. Backstage, after that, you get a bit with Naomi. They're talking about how she won the first ever women's battle royal for WrestleMania. And, you know, that was cool. Natalya interrupts her, was talking about, you know, the trade that's going to be happening next week, and Naomi's like, oh, so you're telling me this is the last time I'm going to have a chance to whoop on you? So, of course, they go through the match. Naomi versus Natalya follows. Pretty good match. I've said before, I really like Naomi. She's very athletic. She's come up with a very cool gimmick. There's just something about, like, the relatability for me that makes her not one of my favorites, and it's nothing personal. It's not her ability, because she's highly athletic in that ring. There's no taking anything away from her. But I just don't gravitate towards her. So, you know, the matches that she has, you know, if you concentrate a little less on the ass shaking and, you know, the grabbing the girl with your ankles and shaking her face and your ass. I mean, it's kind of a very Divas division move. The rear view is a pretty simplistic thing. Even the rapid fire kicks are just kind of cheesy to me. And like I said, this is just personal taste. I'm seriously not trying to knock on her. But it just comes across very campy at times. And so, but she takes away the win. It was a decent match for sure. I take nothing away from either one of these girls. But at the end of the day, just not for me. But that's a big point, because in this show, there's a lot of things that were not for me. You get a backstage interview with Renee Young interviewing Shinsuke Nakamura, asking him why he did what he did, and it was actually kind of funny. Shinsuke has this kind of cool personality about him, even though there's like a language barrier at times. His personality shines through. And he was talking about how he was very apologetic, and you know, he does this really cool fucking thing with his face where he's trying to look sly and winks at Renee. And she's like, you're being kind of facetious about this. Can you answer the question? And he's like, sorry, I don't speak English. It was just really funny. It really was. So that was kind of a cool part. After that, Charlotte Flair starts a promo talking about Asuka and thanking her. And then, you know, thanking a lot of women actually. And then Peyton Royce and Billie Kay come up from NXT. So there was a pop there. Big chant for NXT. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, again, are a couple of women that I don't really gravitate towards personally as female wrestlers. Part of that, and I'll be honest, part of that is because I haven't seen a lot of their work. So there is that for me to admit to and be like, alright, well, I don't know how good they are yet. But there wasn't really a connection to this. They jump Charlotte Flair and they just run her pillar to post. Leave her laying in the middle of the ring, and then I knew what was coming next, and I could not believe that they actually went through with this. Carmella comes down and cashes in the Money in the Bank contract. The bell rings, Carmella kicks Charlotte and pins her, and is now the fucking SmackDown Women's Champion. You mean after you fucking broke Asuka's streak and didn't have the foresight to have her win undefeated against Charlotte, and then continue that storyline on to where she goes undefeated and probably faces Ronda Rousey at the next fucking WrestleMania, you mean to tell me that fucking Carmella is more deserving of the fucking Women's Championship? Are you kidding me? Carmella, the girl that gets in the ring, will fucking slap, pull hair, have a fucking 10-minute match full of nothing but pulling hair, kick them when they're down, and run away screaming. She deserves the Women's fucking Championship over Naomi, over Natalya, over Charlotte Flair, over Asuka, over Becky Lynch. No! This is fucking stupid, retarded. God damn, it disgusted me. And it's nothing against Carmella as a person. I'm sure she's very sweet. She's good on a mic, but that girl is not a fucking wrestler. She is not. And you just had her go over not only Charlotte, but Asuka too. No. That was a horrible choice, in my opinion. It disgusted me. I didn't like it. I'm not going to like it for every day that she holds that fucking championship. So now you have Nia Jax, the most dangerous fucking wrestler in the whole company, is the Raw Women's Champion, and Carmella is a SmackDown Women's Champion. A girl who couldn't fucking wrestle her way out of a paper bag. Those are your two women's champions right now. Sloppy and dangerous and the fucking epitome of the Divas division. That's what you have. I didn't like it. I'm not going to like it. End of story. So moving on from that fucking botch fest, You have a number one contender for the Triple Threat U.S. Championship. It was Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, and Rusev. And Jinder Mahal was at ringside. And crowd was just absolutely pumped for Rusev. Of course, they're cheering for Rusev Day. At the end, Randy Orton picks up the win. And I think it was actually on Rusev. And the crowd wasn't happy about it. They were booing. I don't know that I was unhappy about it. I would have liked to have seen Rusev get over as he is with the crowd. But Randy Orton, you know, I do like him. I don't think he's overplayed yet. I think he's got a lot left in the tank, so I'm not hating on Randy Orton, honestly, winning. I think him and Jinder Mahal, I think Randy Orton will be able to sell for Jinder a lot better than the other two guys. Randy Orton's just very fucking good in the ring. He's good at the stories and wrestling matches. So I think that's the counterpart that Jinder needs, to be very honest. So that's going to happen at the grandest fucking Battle Royal Rumble, whatever they're calling it. So that was alright. I mean, you know, like I said, it wouldn't be bad to see some new blood in there, but when it comes to somebody carrying a Jinder Mahal match, since they already gave Jinder the belt, you know, who better than Randy Orton? So you have a backstage interview with Carmella after that. She's all emotional about winning the championship. And like I said, nothing personal about Carmella. She could be the sweetest person in the world. She is good on a mic. She cuts a good promo. But I'm just not... You know, this is just rehashing a bad moment for me, is all this segment is. Like I said, Carmella, her matches are just not good. They're not. She cannot put on a good match. Cannot. She doesn't know enough about wrestling to be able to do it. I'm sorry, that's how it goes. So right after that is another backstage interview with AJ Styles saying that, you know, he has a match with Daniel Bryan. And AJ cuts the interview saying that, you know, he knows all about Daniel Bryan's accomplishments. Everybody does. But he's not phenomenal. Well, the match was pretty good in a lot of parts when they finally get to the Daniel Bryan AJ Styles match. Of course, these are two of the best ever. There was a couple of things I really didn't like about this match, though. They had a lot of really good exchanges, especially on the mat. They were going hold after hold. It was really cool. There was a miscue on the top rope where Daniel Bryan grabbed AJ Styles. AJ Styles turned his body as they were falling and landed on Daniel Bryan's head as his head hit the mat and just sandwiched his head. You could see Daniel Bryan just grab it. Had to hurt like hell. And this guy just came back after having a whole lot of concussion injury problems. So that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all. I mean, AJ literally came down with his whole body weight on Daniel Bryan's head. Now, AJ Styles is one of the best ever, and he's usually not reckless. It was clearly a miscue somehow. But I make no mistakes about that. I mean, you know, you guys got to be fucking certain you're not dropping on people's heads. That's for sure. So, and then Nakamura comes in at the end. He Kinshastas Daniel Bryan from behind. Daniel Bryan gets out of the ring. And then AJ Styles, Nakamura hits him again with a low blow, hits him with Kinshasa. And that's where they leave off. And that was your whole of SmackDown. The only surprises you had were Paige's general manager, which I'm kind of 50-50 on, and Peyton Royce and Billie Kay coming up from NXT, which there was really no investment. Those were the only things to surprise you in tonight's SmackDown after WrestleMania. That was it. That was all you got. A seriously piss-poor choice in putting the belt on Carmella. I couldn't fucking believe they did that after fucking Asuka losing to Charlotte. It just fucking made me sick. I'm ranting. don't care. When you have wrestlers as good as, like I said, Charlotte, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Natalya, Naomi. No. This was, oh my God, I couldn't stand it. So that really ruined this SmackDown for me, honestly. I think it was a piss poor decision. I really do. Women's wrestling has taken a lot of leaps forward, but as you can see, it can take a few steps backward from time to time. Because like I said, this girl is a reiteration of the fucking Divas division if I ever saw one. So, rating, WrestleMania after fucking, or SmackDown after WrestleMania rather, 3 out of 10. Probably a 3 out of 10 is how I feel about it. They didn't do a lot to set a whole lot in motion. They didn't do a lot to close anything up. They really made some piss poor choices. Very little for surprise factors. It was horrible. So that's what I take away from SmackDown tonight. I haven't given a wrestling show a 10 out of 10 probably since the Attitude Era, and I think truly that yesterday's Raw was a 10 out of 10. So this follows with a 3 out of 10. I wish WWE would just fucking get into a groove, man, because sometimes they really make me hopeful that they know what the fuck they're doing and they're going to turn this into something good. Other times, they make me feel like it's 2011, 2012 all over again. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwoods. Cage Nation, out.